Hey everyone, Michael O'Brien here. Some people have asked me in the past, like, what's your creative process? I really want to create my own original trick, but I'm just sitting there and I'm just scratching my brain and I just can't come up with an original idea. And I've noticed that you have a bunch of tricks that you've created and, you teach these tutorials. Like, how do you come up with this stuff? Now, there's a couple ways you can do this, right? You can sit down and you can just think, what kind of trick do I want to create today? And you could just come up with the ideas, brainstorm, work it out, work out what you want to do, and then work out the method for it. I mean, there are people like Jay Sankey who are cranking out like 2 or 3 tutorials, new fresh content like a week, right? Super creative people that are able to do that. Me, I'm not one of those super creative people that are able to crank out just all these ideas and be able to work them out and stuff. So for me, my creative process is like this. I want to be able to perform X, and the first thing I look for is X method already available? So for example, let's just say I need to perform a deck switch, right? We'll use a deck switch as an example in this one. I need to perform a deck switch. Are there already methods out there to do that? And then I do some research. Deck switch utilities, right? And so I see, oh yes, there's a lot of sleight of hand methods to be able to do that. But I don't want to invest a ton of time in practicing super complicated techniques to be able to do a deck switch. Also, a lot of these techniques might mean I need to use a table because there's lapping involved and I need to be sitting at a table. I don't want to do that. So let's go ahead and set that aside. Now I go, oh, there's gimmicks out there that allow me to do this. Let me look at these gimmicks. So now I check out these different gimmicks. And I'm noticing that a lot of these gimmicks involve me having to set a card case down on the table. Well, I don't want to have to do that either. So it's either use sleight of hand, which I'm not keen on, or use gimmicks that involve me having to set some kind of object out for the audience to see for no reason, which I'm not too keen on either. So now I am in this situation where I either use one of these methods that I'm not really too crazy about, or I come up with my own way to do it. So essentially what I'm going to do is solve a problem. I'm going to see a weakness in a method that already exists, and I'm going to find a way to improve upon it, or even in some cases change it completely. So in this case, I took the idea of doing the sleight of hand deck switch and making it a little bit easier by coming up with a deck holdout. I like to call the switcheroo deck holdout, not to be confused with Mark Mason's switcheroo, different product. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, sorry for the confusion. But I named it after I knew about Mark Mason's trick. But anyways, I have a trick called the switcheroo deck holdout, which essentially is a gimmick that sits in my pocket, right? So it's not a gimmick that I have to put out on the table to do the deck switch. It's a gimmick that sits in my pocket, and it makes a deck switch really easy for me. Now there is sleight of hand involved with it, but the sleight of hand has been simplified and streamlined so that there's nothing crazy difficult going on. Just a little bit of timing and misdirection, but nothing crazy. And it works perfectly for me because I'm able to do this while I'm strolling. I don't have to take something out of my pocket and set it down. So when I'm coming up with these magic ideas, 95% of the time, they're just like that. They're me wanting to do something, and if there is a method for it already, I look to that method, and if the method's perfect, I'm going to use it. Like, perfect example, bill changes. I wanted to add a really slick bill change to my routine, and so I got Extreme Burn by Richard Sanders. It's perfect. There's nothing much more I can do to it. So there's no reason for me to come up with my own bill change because Richard Sanders' bill change is already perfect. Does that make sense? So now if there's a trick out on the market that I don't think is very good and I want to be able to perform it but I don't like their method, I'll come up with my own way to do it that solves issues that I have with that particular method. So that's essentially the way that I do it. So if you really think about it, there's a couple ways that you can do this. You can be super clever and you can just sit there and you can brainstorm ideas and just come up with all these cool tricks that you can perform. Guys like Jay Sankey do that all the time. Or you can do it my way, where you have an idea in your mind of what you want to do, and you're going to look for the best method to do that. If you can't find a method that suits you, take some of the ideas that you've learned and tweak them, or even change them completely so that it works best for the way that you want to be able to perform it. That's how I do it anyway. I hope that helped answer your question. I know I rambled a little bit longer than I probably needed to there. But if you guys have any questions about that, go ahead and leave me a comment in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button and turn on your notifications. I'm going to be uploading new content every single week. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. And until next time, keep practicing.